Hello, everyone. I am Hypertension here with Tamed, and we are finally onto this into this cast. Sorry about the delay. A lot of things. We have let's just say a little bit of confusion going on around the league everywhere. We have let's say daylight savings time issue. Like I said, I'm here. I'm Hypertension, joined by Tame. How
Hey
you doing,
guys,
Tamed?
I'm doing awesome. I'm ready to bung some goose.
All right, because oh, holy crud! Because this night has been a crap fest. Well, how about this? Why don't you start by telling me about these two teams? We have 9X and we have Risen's Most Wanted.
So I'm pretty intimately familiar with RMW. I've cast them about 5 times already. They're wildly inconsistent. I've seen them play from the highest highs to the lowest lows of Clown Fiesta. I'm sure they're bringing their A game tonight. 9X, I have not cast them yet, so I'm a little bit unfamiliar. However, their record is 8-3 going into the playoffs, so that they're right up there with D Rose and Henlo.
They most certainly are Risen's Most Wanted. Like we said, being one of those middle of the pack teams, I believe they finished in sixth in the regular season, so enough to get to the playoffs, but by a sizable margin. But nothing really necessarily to like that would put them at the top.
Yeah, and it seems like every time I've cast them, they've had some moments where they're doing awesome, then they sort of like fall down. So far, I've noticed that their mid game seems to be their downfall. They kind of like get a little bit of lead, and then rather than snowballing it, they sort of squander it, or sometimes they squander it and then get it back. They're like the Echo Fox of our league here.
You were talking about who again? I'm sorry, my mic cut out.
RMW.
Risen's Most
They're
Wanted. I
they're
wouldn't
sort of
say
like
that
our Echo
far.
Fox.
I would say more like, um, not Cloud9. I would say more like 100 Thieves. Sometimes they can look like God. Sometimes not so much.
Yeah, that might be apt.
All right, and also we are about to get into draft. Beforehand, why don't you just like give us a little bit of a, let's just say a prelude to this sort of what's going on with this game. What am I trying to say now? Prelude, but who do you think is going to be a player to watch before we get into draft?
Well, definitely. I mean, check out Free Wi-Fi. How active of a player he is. 500 in some games. They're Diamond 2, so they're near the top of their standings in their team, like the highest rated player. They're also the most active player on their team.
Most cer-
So it looks like they're going to get to draft here in just a second.
Most certainly, and it appears that these teams are about to, are about to go into drafts, or at least they should be.
They should be.
They should be. And again, apologies for not only the lateness of this stream, but just the little bit of part two. Ah, never mind. Okay, they didn't go in because I'm not. I'm bad. All right, that's why. I'm bad. So we're also not getting multiple streams tonight. My bad.
So the goose has been thrown.
Yeah, I would say well more so the hyper has been tensioned. So we are now into draft, and we see a Vladimir off the board first. What do you think about this pick?
Well, the great thing I was going to mention, we're in 8.5 meta now, so we don't have to see the instantaneous removal of all the banner carriers, which is great because I think it's a lot healthier for the game. Renekton ban, that as a first ban, that's pretty interesting to me. Maybe a one trick on 9X.
I say fear my croc.
Well, yeah, his name is Fear My Croc, so it may be a one trick.
Just a little bit. And then we do have the Anivia banned away from great support.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there. Anivia, I mean, even Faker picked up Anivia yesterday in the LCK. With the itemization changes with the Archangels and the fact that she can just control so much of a zone now. I mean, if you think about it, her ult's like a permanent baby cage from Veigar.
It truly is. Except for it's more of a slow instead of that stun, but it does deal a lot more damage over time. We do see
and it
Galio
keeps that
banned
area
away.
denied.
Galio's such a strong mid laner since then. And Zillion. All right.
Zillion, that's interesting. So RMW's bans look a lot more targeted, where 9x's bans so far look a lot more meta. And I'm not surprised to see the first lock on the Varus. You know, he's so good right now. Ginsu's Rage Blade hasn't been gutted yet. When it gets gutted in the next patch, I believe Varus is probably going to fall completely out of the meta unless he receives some sort of compensation changes. But at the moment, you know, he's so strong. Top tier, number one, no doubt.
All right. I would put Tristana up. Oh, no, this is the patch after we're on 8.5, so she has already been nerfed. I had forgotten about that. So we do see Sejuani and Taric going out. Sejuani, just an all-around good jungler, and Taric, a good defensive support. What do you think should be the response here from 9X?
Well, you know, they're going to need something to counter the disengage here.
Ooh.
And I was going to say, you know, maybe something like a flighty top laner, and that's exactly what they got in the Kled, you know, being able to charge in, get the jump before Taric can blow his ult. He can be blown up before the immunity comes in.
We do see the Kled locked in. Such a amazing champion to watch. Makes the viewing experience so much fun. A lane bully who also has great team fight engage and presence. So overall, just a great champion to look in here. Not sure how it is in this meta, though. And we do see Jarvan locked in to oppose that Sejuani in the top lane. I'm sorry, in the jungle. I'm still thinking about Kled. Kled's awesome.
Well, you know, Kled is one of those characters. He's sort of like never meta, but always kind of meta. Like, he's never really an overtly dominant pick. Yet at the same time, you're never like, oh god, I have a Kled on my team. This sucks.
Most certainly. Well, it depends on whether or not the Kled is actually any good. If it's me playing Kled, you're saying, why did he pick Kled? And we do see Jhin off the board. I say off the board onto that. And they banned the Xerath. Oh.
You know, Xerath with Ludens can just be absolutely annoying.
I know.
They might have a mid laner lined up here that they know is like a hard sustainer. Like maybe they were planning on picking like a brand or something that they just don't want Xerath to rip apart.
Yeah, Xerath is one of those champions. He never really has a weak point in the game. He remains relevant all throughout the game. He always has high damage. He can put out a fair amount of DPS, a solid amount of range, good wave clear. He's just all around a fantastic champion. We also see Cassiopeia and and Janna off the board here. Solid bans, but I'm not really sure about that Janna ban. Maybe it's just
you know, it's a lot of it's kind of like, you know, you stack up the Varus ult, you got Jarvan jumping on people, you got Kled knocking people around, and then you just don't want the Janna like blowing people around and tornadoing too. I kind of get it. Actually, it sort of makes sense to me that other team has so many ways to lock you down, they just don't want another one against them.
Most certainly, that does make some sense. And then we have oh, are we going to see it? Because we are going to see it. Fear my Crocs Kled into... Hold up. Let me make sure that there was no mispick. Okay, no, that's another ping. Into Grave Robbers Darius. Juicy.
So if we don't see Dunkmaster, I'm actually leaving the cast. I mean, I think that should genuinely replace Darius's default skin.
Most certainly. I love me some Dunkmaster Darius. Even though I'm terrible at Darius. We also see Braum talking about swole men. Did you know that Darius's axe weighs at least 70 pounds, and the fact that how high he jumps up with that thing would make him stronger than the strongest man on the face of the earth?
Don't tell that to Garen. He might be Mirren.
I don't know about Garen. He doesn't have any cannon feats of strength. Braum, though, would also give him a run for his money there. And the Bird King, the Emperor of the Sands, well, the false Emperor of the Sands, Azir.
I'm going to go ahead and refer to 9x's comp as Team Abs, because those are some ripped and swole men. And honestly, even Kled's Raptor is pretty swole.
9x. That's not their name. That's just counting how many pecs each champion has.
Ooh, I like it. And if they were planning on that Echo, that's exactly why they banned that Xerath. Because, you know, pre-6, Echo is super pokeable. And knocking out that Xerath, if that was their plan, awesome decision. I love to see the Echo. He makes huge, exciting plays. He does it frequently. If you think about, there is some disgusting synergy between Echo and Tarek's ult, where Echo can actually go in, blow somebody up, jump back in time, and then be ulted by Tarek and go do it all again.
Mm-hmm. We are, say this Echo for Little Swid B. It is going to be interesting to see how it matches up against the Azir of great support. Both players just really, really good. And this is definitely going to be a very interesting matchup. I apologize if I sound a little bit like laggy mentally tonight. It's been a trip tonight. Doesn't help that we're getting started an hour later. So hey, daylight savings time. So, which lane do you think is going to be the biggest focus for these teams?
Oof. It's tough because bot lane, they both have the protective supports. Top lane are both like sort of passive farmers. So can I go ahead and say no lane, but rather the jungle and the way that it plays out through ganks is going to be more exciting than the laning phases?
Certainly. And also one thing, I apologize, my mic cut out there for a second. Can you repeat like the point you said, not the whole thing, but just the point?
I just feel like the jungle is actually more going to be a deciding factor here than the lanes. Bot lane they're both fairly safe ADCs. Jhin with the bouncing bomb, and Varus just with his long range poke and safe farm, and they both have protective supports. Top lane they're not really going to be fighting each other too much. Kled's pokey and can get back. Darius has that great sustain and natural armor. I just see the jungle being more of a deciding factor here than the lanes.
Most certainly. One thing I would like to point out about the Darius is it was actually covered by the this or that crew of Kobe and Jat this week. And one thing, or it might have been last week, but one thing that they mentioned is that they don't think that it is Darius being meta again. They think it was just that someday is that freaking good. Also, to my knowledge, this is a bad matchup for Darius into that Kled. One of my buddies that I used to coach, he was 3 ranks above me. I would say 3 tiers above me. He was a Kled mate, and he always laughed whenever people picked Darius into his Kled. It wasn't because of the fact that he was like, this is going to be bad. He was laugh because he knew he was going to stomp lane.
Yeah, I mean, Kled definitely has the bigger outplay potential over Darius, but the thing is, even if there's bad trades for Darius, all he really has to do is buy a rejuvenation bead, hang back for like 10 seconds, and boom, there's his health back. You know what I mean? Like, you not only have to outplay, the Darius has to be overly aggressive and just play unsafe as well.
Does the rejuvenation bead outdamage Kled's violent tendencies, though? That's the question.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm more saying, like, yeah, Darius is going to lose trades. He's going to have to retreat. But Darius is also the kind of champion that can sort of farm under towers safely and not really get bullied out. So unless he wants to force fights or push really hard, I mean, yeah, the Kled is scary, and Kled is sort of a pseudo counter. But yeah, I wouldn't be too scared for this Darius.
All right, well, let's go into this bot lane. Jhin Taric versus Braum Varus. What do you think?
I'm seeing a lot of farming in our future. The only thing that I can see really happening here is if they can manage to land a clutch stun with a Taric. You'd have to be like a flash stun with the Dazzle. Otherwise, Jin's going to be back. As long as they don't take any like messed up bouncing balm procs, I think they should be okay.
Certainly. One thing I would like to point out is that this is the same AD carry combination we would have seen about a year ago back when it was the League of Lethality. All we saw was Jhin Varus every single game, and then occasionally an Ashe when one of these two was banned. But, I mean, a year later, we're still playing the same champions at AD carry. What do you know?
Yeah, it's sort of come full circle. I mean, I actually think they're both pretty exciting. There's not an ADC, in my opinion, that has an ult that's more interesting than Varus's. When those Dark Tendrils go out, to me, that's very exciting because a team fight's going to start, and usually an ADC doesn't really get to dictate that.
I think there is definitely a case for some other champions. I think there's definitely a strong case that can be made. Namely, the curtain call.
That is true.
Because when you hear that music, you know somebody's about to get shot. All right, well, look at this mid lane. Echo and Azir. That's usually not a
Yeah,
good matchup for the Azir.
it's hard to tell. You know, Azir's Soldiers Arise just got nerfed in 8.5, so they do a little bit less damage. But if he has good positioning, he still has, I would say, actually the edge in terms of zone control and farm over Echo. But Echo can actually all in a lot better than Azir can pre-6.
Most certainly. Another thing is that both teams could set up a 1-1-3-1. However, I'm sorry, no. The side of 9X could possibly set up a 1-3-1. The side of Risen's Most Wanted would have to set up a 1-4 because they did go with the Jhin, who doesn't have good wave clear.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. It's going to come down to basically who gets the early lead to see if they can pull splits like that or if they just get forced into 5s.
So overall, which composition do you think is the better of the two and why?
Ooh, it's a tough one. I think that they both drafted very well. This is, in my opinion, the best that I've seen two teams draft around bans and around meta so far in Risen. I kind of want to give the edge to RMW if they play correctly right now, just because Tarek is so good with that ult and the Echo synergy.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you said you give it to Risen's Most Wanted?
A slight edge,
Slight
and
edge.
that's only if they play perfectly.
I'm actually going to counter you. I think that the just based on composition, I like 9X. They have a very, very, very good ability to engage on top of that Jhin, on top of that Echo. And yes, Echo is slippery. Jhin is not. Darius is not. And overall, Risen's Most Wanted lacks sustained damage, so they have to get picks, or else I think that they really don't win the team fights. Because Jhin is not sustained. He is burst damage. Darius, for the most part, is a little bit of sustained damage in terms of the Noxian Might and the and just the amount of low cooldown and the low cooldown on his Decimate. But at the same time, how is it going to do in team fights against someone like a Braum or a Jarvan that are building full tank?
That was my one concern for Echo. Like, who's he going to assassinate? You know, say he gets in there on the Varus, kills him, then what do you do next? Run away and poke somebody for nothing? That is my one concern for the Echo here, is he's going to have to snowball early.
No,
I like the pick. It's ballsy, but, I mean, come on. I have to see the Tarek Echo ult interaction. I need it.
In addition to that, one thing that I was thinking of is Varus doesn't necessarily, what's the word? He doesn't necessarily hurt from picking up a Wit's End, which is definitely not going to make it easy on Little Swidby on that Echo.
No, you're correct there, too. That's one of the items that Varus, it's almost like paying the ADC tax, like sometimes you buy the QSS against, you know, the Malzahar, the Skarner, and everything. Varus definitely can do that for some, like, anti-engage, and then, you know, he has the, Withering Arrow pull that just slows, so he has a little bit of self-peel.
As we do load into game, remember guys, Risen Esports, this is the Champions League quarterfinals. I am Hypertension here with Tamed. And you know what? This is 9X versus Risen's Most Wanted. We are ready for this game to get started up. But before that, we're going to look at this skin game. Because guess what? It's not bad. We do see the Dunkmaster Darius on Graves Robber. We do see SKT1 Jhin, solid. Arctic Ops Varus, Santa Braum. But one thing we don't see is we don't see any skins for 3 members of 9X to the one of Risen's Most Wanted. So the skin game 100% goes to Risen's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually just thinking about that. Yeah, the game's pretty much over, actually. I'm just going to go ahead and call it now.
Another thing I would like to point out
mid.
is that this is actually pretty funny. The clan tag for the top laner of Risen's Most Wanted, Graves Robber, is Kled. And
Maybe a
he's facing
disrespect
Kled.
pick, then.
Most certainly could be a disrespect pick. All right, guys, we are loading into. We are into the game now. I will introduce the blue side. On the blue side, we have 9X with Beer My Croc on the top lane Kled. We have Wolf God Balves on the Jarvan jungle. We have great support on the Azir mid. We have Luca on the AD carry Varus, and free Wi-Fi on the support Braum.
Then over on the red side, we have Graves, Robert Duncan in the top lane. Cruising through the jungle, we got Jackie Chan 3, not 1 or 2, but 3 on the Sejuani. Keeping it timely in mid lane, we got little Swidby. Counting to 4 in the bot lane, we got Jin as the ADC, and middle lane Brain looking fabulous as Taric.
Most certainly, Taric just tells Fabio, eat your heart out, I do it better. Speaking of which, we did see a little bit of trading go on there between the supports. That's Portal Combat, but nothing really coming off of it. Neither one of them have their team waiting, so it's just going to be a standard buff clear here. Red for Wolf God and blue for Jackie Chan.
Yeah, it's just game 1 of these like crucial series like this. You usually don't see too much invading. The teams are going to kind of fill each other out. They've already played in the season, so maybe they know, let's not do this yet.
Yeah, invading, not the best idea to do like right off the bat. I mean, yeah, it could catch someone off guard, but at the same time, you always have to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. Although I would like to put a note that Braum has one of the best early games in the game in terms of invading.
Most certainly does. Let's say those passive procs on the concussive blows are dangerous, and Fear My Croc might be in trouble here. He's taking a lot of damage from that bleed. The Noxie Might does apply to him, and he's probably going to be knocked off a Scarl. He is knocked off a Scarl, but we're looking at the bot lane for some reason, and Fear My Croc is still bleeding down. Graves Robber is away. Wolf God Balls is there, so he might just be able to get out as Graves Robber does pop the teleport to escape the mid and jungle of 9X. Not quite a SOAS level escape, but that was a pretty clean one, and nobody dies.
Fear My Croc losing the Lizard there to backblast over the wall, then trading flashes with the Darius. Amazing way to avoid the first blood. A really bad trade overall for him, but wow, that was some good play potential there. Darius might get a little bit of damage on this tower, but not too much. But wow, that was a great play potential down there.
And I always love those escapes. And what we are seeing now is a little bit of back and forth in the bot lane, but we are seeing a fight over in the top side jungle. Jackie Chan does go in onto Balves, and little Swibby is right behind him as Balves goes super low. He does get out with the flag and drag and the flash. Little Swibby is still chasing though, gonna take some damage from great support.
29 health on the Jarvan. 29! And they just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, still nobody dying. These teams want blood, but neither of them want to be the one to give it.
I mean, your whole season's on the line here in that first blood. It means a lot. It's good for your mental game.
It is, and what isn't good is having that bear trap on a rope propped onto you. And we're seeing another fight in the bot lane as free Wi-Fi does take a lot of damage. So does mid lane Brain. Oh, barely missing the dazzle there as they manage to disengage, but it looks like Jackie Chan is hovering around top. Come on, directed cam. There we go. As Graves Robber, he's baiting him in. That jungler is right behind him. Jackie Chan is there. Fear My Croc trying to hide in the bush. The Arctic Assault does come down. No summoners on him. The bleed and the permafrost axe going down. He's not going to be able to get this kill, really, as Noxie Mike does go down on him. He does get Scarl back. He could get the kill turned around as Graves Robber is hanging around, but Fear My Croc should just be able to get out because he doesn't have any cooldowns right now. But he does get the bear trap on a rope onto him. He is proccing the violent tendencies, but first blood goes over to Jackie Chan. Holy crap, that took forever.
Whew. Wow, though, really, I mean, again, props to the Kled, deep understanding of their champion. They almost killed Darius there, and then in the end, they almost killed Sejuani, too. Wow, there was some crazy, 2v1, I feel like they played at about the best that they could. Obviously, they're lacking the vision there that they should have had. Definitely no excuse for that, but the amount of effort that they put into not dying is fantastic.
It most certainly is. And one thing that we did see, though, is that Fear My Croc is apparently fairly competent on this Kled. He managed to avoid dying for quite a while. While Graves Robber was just baiting so much, you have to think that if that happens again, that will result in a kill for the Kled.
Absolutely. And check out mid there. Almost double farm on that Echo versus Azir.
Yeah, that's
34
a
to 21 right now.
that is a dangerous situation, just like Lil Swidby is in right now, as he does get hopped on by Wolf God Battles, but it doesn't look like it's going to really result in anything, as he just kind of phase dives away from the knockup and the follow-up damage.
Yeah, no summoners going out there. The Jarvan didn't have his flash up. He used it up top earlier. So, maybe it would have resulted in a kill with summoners, but they couldn't pull it out of Echo either.
Most certainly. And one thing I was going to say is that farm lead could result because, like I said, Echo does have a lot of pressure on Azir in terms of laning in that mid game. But also, one thing to talk about now is how Jackie Chan is hovering around this bot lane. He's waiting for a good go-ahead, but it doesn't look like he's going to go.
No, it looks like he's actually just going to go ahead and get some vision up, clear out some camps, maybe do a little bit of invading here.
As Bear Trap on lanes onto Graves, Robert. These top laners just are wanting to fight, and you talked about CS mid lane, but let's forget about the CS for a moment as that fight started up, and Fear My Croc was not on the good end of that.
Take a note of how deep the Sejuani is right now. They're in some dangerous territory. Looks like Jarvan is going to close in there. If bot lane collapses, this could be bad.
It most certainly could, and there comes the flag and drag onto Jackie Chan. He does have flash, so he might be able to get it, but he misses. Oh, but the dash does get him over the wall there, as we do see great support and the bot lane of 9X rotate over. The Ocean Drake just taking some pot shots onto Jackie Chan.
That's good there for Jarvan to not lose his red. He's one of the junglers that does benefit from that so much.
Yeah, and here I was thinking that Chris Tucker was the only one that got to take pot shots at Jackie Chan. Speaking of pot shots, it looks like Fear My Croc was taking a couple, but was receiving them just as quickly as back from Grave Robber there.
Yeah, top lane, the Kled is getting bullied back to tower again.
Yeah, that first kill did help out. If the Darius had gotten it, I imagine this would be a lot more one-sided, but it could just be a lack of balancing the violent tendencies. You have to do that if you really want to be successful with these Kled trades, is you cannot use the violent tendencies on minions, but as soon as they're up, you really have to go for that fight.
Looks like he does have a slight lead in CS, though, and another story worth noting is look at Jarvan, his farm compared to Sejuani.
And I will have to stop because we do see the charge go in, but the flash also comes out from Grave Robber as the bottom lane of Risen's Most Wanted did rotate up. They're now at the top lane. They might be going to look for this Rift Herald as great support does find mid lane Brain. It doesn't look like any fight's going to happen, but the Rift Herald isn't spawned yet. What was I talking about?
Yeah, I was going to say we still have about 2 minutes for that one, but priority vision control, worth noting.
And as we do see that Bear Trap on a rope still on him. Violent tendencies coming out. The dunk does go down, but Skarl is back, and that's going to be a kill onto Grave Robber from Fear My Croc.
Wow, great Skarl bait there. Knowing it was going to come back, knowing he had the courage bar filled. It looked like Darius was a little bit unaware there, honestly. He just kept fighting, thinking he had it, but you never really know when you have it against a good Kled player like that.
You most certainly don't. That early Noxian Guillotine really did doom him there because he didn't wait for that one last bit of damage before it would have done the full execute.
So just taking a look here at the vision game real quick. Something going down.
Oh, what a red steal by Wolf God Valves. But it does look like great support is here to support him to make sure he doesn't get really hopped on by Lil Swidby. Now, I apologize. You were saying?
No, absolutely. There's action happening. Vision game right now.
There's more action there. Little Swidby, it does get hopped on by Wolf God, but it looks like now a lot more hopping on. There's a lot to talk about here, and I can't figure out what to talk about as Little Swidby does go down to Fear My Croc. The Cosmic Radiance did come down from mid lane Brain as they are disengaging. Sorry, Dynamic Cam is just not wanting to stay on one fight.
Yeah, I'm having similar issues. Dynamic Cam seems to love bottom for the minion farming right now.
No,
not exactly sure what's going on there.
And it's loving top lane for the fights that are going on. Graves Robber is getting the bad end of this one as Fear My Croc does have it, but he doesn't have the charge, so he can't secure the kill as great support and Wolf God Valves are trying to hammer away at this mid lane tower.
Yeah, we are going to see the Herald pop up now for this 10. Right now, definitely look to Risen's Most Wanted having a little bit better of a vision game. If you actually check the map out, not a whole lot going on right now for 9X.
Yes, but overall, the vision score actually is in favor of 9X.
Yeah, it looks like they might see a setup around this Drake. You know, I feel like Ocean's very underrated a lot of the time. That regeneration, you know, you get two of them, you basically have a Warmog's armor on your team.
I wouldn't go that far.
Basically, if you're out
No,
of combat.
hmm, I would not go that far.
So, while we have a little bit of a lull here,
Mm.
let's just imagine Garen with his passive, a Warmog's armor, and 10 Ocean Drakes. Could you even kill him?
No, because you wouldn't be in League of Legends. It does look like the charge comes out, and it looks like there is a lot of damage coming down on the Suida. But I would say the charge whiffs big, but the dazzle does not. It does land on free Wi-Fi and Luca, and it doesn't look like 9X is really going to be able to press this anymore. It would have been a 4v4 there with both top laners not having teleport. I say sorry, both top laners not having teleport and Wolf God Battles being in the top lane. It wouldn't really been able to do anything there. So
Now,
nothing
Jhin
happened.
did blow his flash there too, and I mean, we noted how immobile Jhin is. So I would
Jhin-
definitely be looking to pressure the Jhin there. He's got, you know, almost 300 seconds until his flash is back.
Most certainly, that is a really essential summoner spell for that champion just because of how immobile he is. Speaking of immobile, the Darius is in trouble again without Flash. Fear My Croc and Wolfgod Valves are just on top of him, and Fear My Croc does get another kill. Like I said, this matchup is not one you want to be in if you are Darius, and this was picked into the Kled.
Yeah, and this is actually it's gonna snowball into a 1.5k lead over here for Team 9X, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you consider the other team was up by about 300 gold for a couple minutes there to reverse that. That's a pretty big swing, and you know this gives them like priority on Herald. It opens up the map for some vision, so it can't be understated this early in the game.
Was certainly, and oh, the chains of corruption do go out and miss mid lane brain there. To add on to your point about the gold, I would say about 1,100 of that are just, is just on Fear My Croc. And it does look like with that next minion wave, he should be able to get that top lane tier 1. As great support is getting hopped on by Jackie Chan here. The Glacial Prison does come out, but he cleanses it fairly fast as this Kled will take down first brick and is looking to fight this Darius as well. He could very well win this.
Absolutely. I think it's a good fight for Darius, especially if he can get.
Noxie Might is on him. The bleed is on him, and the Darius does get the kill.
Oh! Wow, the turnaround there by the Darius. He heard me talking some smack on his mama and just turned around and dunked on the Kled. Man, he took him to 5 guys and didn't even get him any fries. He just put them in the basketball hoop, hung him up by his underwear, and said, "You're done."
Okay, that was a little bit too vivid of an image, but we do see the concussive blow stacks going down onto Suida. And it does look like mid lane Brain is fighting Luca at the same time, trying to make sure that he can't really do anything. Cosmic Radiance does come down. Mid lane Brain taken dangerously low, but no one manages to die until the curtain call comes out. But Wolf God Battles is here, so Suida does have to run along with his support.
Mid lane Brain had 22 health when that ult went off. Not sure if that was luck or skill. I'm going to err on the side of luck.
Yeah, I would say it could be on the side of luck as we do see these teams rotating around. Mid lane Brain is in a dangerous position. It does get absolutely dunked by the Jarvan Cataclysm. And that's another kill over to the side of 9X. First one for Wolf God Valves.
Good job pushing his advantage there. Questionable on whether he needed the ult or not. I almost feel like if he had kept that ult there, they could have dove on Suida. I don't know if you agree with me or not there.
They possibly could have. As the charge comes out, another ultimate kind of just used in excess, but Graves Robber isn't in the best of spots. Fear My Croc does go in, but Fear My Croc is under tower. Not in the I say there's a lot going on right now. Glacial Prison has come out. Swida does go down. Lil Swida is next, and then Graves Robber is having to run away from the massive amount of team presence there from 9X. Sorry,
Look at that cohesion
I don't know why,
there.
my tongue is getting tongue-tied.
No, it's absolutely fine. Look at that cohesion that their team just represented there. All of them basically knowing the other team didn't have AoE, being able to stand together like that.
Hate to interrupt, but there is a fight going on as Grace Robber is taken low, does get taken down by Luca. Mid lane Brain does go down to Fear My Croc as well, as this tower is just being whittled away by Luca all at the same time. This Sejuani does have to run, as that is a second tower for 9X.
Second tower, and it's either Drake or Herald as well, which it looks like they're going to go for the Drake. No, maybe just baiting some over there. But I feel like that they probably could have picked that up. But, you know, with the Sejuani still up, it's a little bit risky.
It most certainly is because she does have that chilling smite. Oh, that whole time that just reminds me that Green Smite is dead. Rest in peace.
And I mean, if you think about it there too, like 9X was like clustered together. But if you look over at RMW's comp, they don't really have the AoE to punish that. I mean, can you call Jin's ult an AoE, which was already down? There's nothing really stopping 9X from just moving as a block, especially with that Braum, and just running you over.
I did bring that up before the game. Another thing, that deadly flourish was perfectly timed, but there wasn't really any ability to follow up because of the fact that, like you said, there was no AoE damage. There's no group as mid lane Brain is in trouble. Fear My Croc lands the bear chop on a rope, but the concussive blow stacks does give Luca
Oof.
the kill there.
I don't think the vision was worth it there. Tarek was, trying to get some vision around the objective. Questionable on why he would go for it at the time he did.
It certainly is, and this does look like it will be a bot lane tier 1 for them, but the curtain call does come out. Graves Robber is trading over there with Fear My Croc as he gets pulled back in, and the Noxie Might does apply onto him. Does get knocked off of Sorrow, but a clutch Emperor's Divide from great support, but it doesn't end up saving him as Swida does flash and land the 4th shot onto that Kled for the kill.
Yeah, great attempt there, honestly. They're out to protect that lead right now. Let's see if RMW is actually going to make an aggressive play on this Dragon to try to get back in this.
They most certainly could, but it looks like 9X is looking to contest them as Graves Robber. It does chase off Free Wi-Fi and Luca. He's just zoning them off right here. As we do see the Drake started up. Graves Robber staying on that side to make sure that they can't really try anything.
Look how clustered they are, though.
They
This is
really
dangerous.
are.
The Verisalt.
The Glacial Fissure is up, so is the Verisalt, and Swide B does go in. Cosmic Radiance and the Glacial Fissure go down. A lot of jumping onto the back line, but it does look like mid lane Brain does go down. So does Grave Robber to Luca. And that Drake does go down as well to Wolf God Pals.
Extending the gold lead out over 6,000 this early in the game. I think the only curtain call here is for Risen's most wanted, RIP Jin.
Most certainly is. There's not really a chance that a Jin could really get out of that without his flash, which he did use to kill Fear My Croc. And you have to think,
really?
Was it worth it?
No, absolutely not. And in hindsight, the way they could have played that better was pulling it out and up towards mid lane. I knew when they were stood that clustered, and the fact that the other team had vision there, 9X had the vision. I saw it. You said the Glacial Fissure is up, and then as soon as you said it, it happened. And we are going to see Herald go down here, probably uncontested as well, which is going to be another tower for them as strong as they're pushing.
Most certainly. So many things going on in these fights. It's hard to keep track of what to sort of call about it, so I'm finding myself getting tongue-tied. Between the fact I'm tired, it's not helping out. But yeah, right now we do have this very solid team fight game from 9X, which is resulting in them having a 7,000 gold lead nearly, and 2,000 of that is just in the top lane.
Yeah. And so the questions here, analysis, what can RMW do to get back in this game? The game's obviously not over. This is Champions League. We're not in bronze solo queue. They can get back into this. They could force a fight at Baron after farming up a little bit, do some tower hugging, get back in the minion game. They do have some good wave clear champions on their side. Vision game is actually looking good in their top side jungle. They need to get that Baron pit warded up, get that vision out. There's things that they can do to get back into this game. Now let's see if they actually execute.
They are looking to put some vision down around that Baron pit. There is a lot over there for the side of Risen's Most Wanted. Total of, I want to say about 5, maybe 6 wards in that area. We're also seeing that split push come out from the Kled as we do see a Glacial Fissure and a Corrupting Chains go down. But it does look like mid lane Brain is going to be taken down by Luca.
Just going to go ahead and toss out now. From an analytical standpoint, that is the 4th time that mid lane Brain has been caught out of position.
Have to think that it will be a a factor to explore upon after this game. Certainly,
yeah.
These teams are stated here in the mid lane, dancing on this as they do summon the Rift Herald. A lot of damage going down on a little Swidby, but it does look like Shelly or Herald, depending on your preference, he's going to deal a lot of damage to that tower. And it does look like the curtain call will come out, but the Unstoppable from Free Wi-Fi just negates most of the shots. Does look like they're going to put a lot of effort into killing Shelly, though.
Have you ever danced with a Rift Herald in the pale moonlight?
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Because I have.
Oh, Grave Robber with a clutch flash pull there as there's just chaos everywhere. Chaos. I say Cataclysm comes down. So does the Chrono Break. A lot of damage there from the front line, but a huge Emperor's Divide from Great to support as they clean up there. And that is a quadra kill potentially for Wolfgod Battles. No, it is just a triple kill, but it is a 4-for-0 in favor of 9X. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have to respect the Darius, that pull, getting them off balance there with how far they are ahead. The item builds at this point are insanely differential. I mean, we're talking about a whole item in between the ADCs. We're talking about a whole item between the supports and the jungle. They could, I was going to say they might even be able to end here if they got cocky, but it looks like if I were them, you could just rotate back and fight Baron. I mean, I know that the other team's coming back up. RMW's, they're coming back to life, but it's not even really that much conceit to actually go back and just fight Baron and force another fight at him, which is what I guess they're going to buy first, which makes sense as well.
They really need to empty out that golden pocket. Last I checked, there was about 2,000 gold just on Luca, let alone the rest of the team. I can't imagine how much great support had after that Emperor's Divide. Just came in and swept up the entirety of what remained of Risen's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I mean, look at the disparity between ADCs here. I mean, look at that. You see the Ginsu's Rage Blade, the Hurricane, and then some. He's got the Vampiric Scepter, the Doran's. Jin's got a Rage or a Yumu's Ghostblade and a Zeal and some stuff. But I mean that's the disparity there with the fact that Varus is so much more mobile and useful in a team fight. It's crazy.
It most certainly is, and there's a lot of zoning here from the side of 9X as they do start up the Baron, the side of Risen's Most Wanted. Kind of late to the party here. No, they haven't started it up yet. I think they might be pulling just a bait to try and pull the side of Risen's Most Wanted in. They don't have a ward that can see it.
And this is not a good fight for Risen's Most Wanted. The item disparity, the positioning disparity, the vision disparity. They'd almost be better off just giving this up and going back and just wave clearing if they can. I mean, we're talking about a 10,000 gold lead at only 22 minutes here.
Yes, and we're also talking about a charge coming in from Fear My Croc as that does land. But a Glacial Prison does land onto Luca. Curtain Call comes out as well, but Fear My Croc is just going balls to the wall. And he looks like he's going to get a piece of Graves Robber. Also, as mid lane Brain and Little Swidby does go down as well. Wolfgod Balves almost goes down on the side, but Sweeta and Jackie Chan are just running now from this Azir and this Varus who are doing so much damage. Wolfgod Balves does be a scumbag and take the kill there onto Sweeta, but overall that is a 4-4-0 for the side of 9X, and that very well could be the game.
I would be surprised if it wasn't here. All that they have coming up is, the Darius and the Taric. Sejuani's ult is down. There's not really any engage from them, and Taric, all he can do, he can't save the tower. You can't ult a tower. I mean, you can pretend that you want to. Yeah, they're flashing the GG emote. This is going to be it. Game 1 going over to 9X.
And that was such a clean game from the side of 9X. Just a very, very dominating game there from the number 3 seed out of Champions League.
So what did we learn today? We learned don't get caught out trying to place vision as Taric. We also learned don't pick immobile, squishy ADCs against a pokey, long-range ADC with a team fight ult. So definitely I'm going to look to see Varus either picked or banned immediately next time. And would probably eat my own knees if we see mid lane Brain on that Taric again. In fact, I'll eat my own knees on stream. Raw.
Right. Please don't do that. Just saying, please don't. That would be pretty, gruesome. And a little bit disturbing. But all right, yeah. We are going to be right back here in just a few minutes with Game 2 of 9X and Risen's Most Wanted. Cue the music. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with 9X versus Risen's Most Wanted. I am still hypertension, even though my brain is absolutely shot. And I'm here with Tamed. How are you doing, Tamed?
I'm just as good as I was last time. My knees are still intact as long as we do not see that Tarek picked up.
Um, that was not a bet I would have made. I'm just telling you. We did see 9X have a very, let's just say, dominant game one, but it could have been just because of the draft. What do you think there?
Yeah, it all came together in the end for 9X. Just the dominant team fight comp. You just can't beat it. Not with what they had. And really, I feel like the linchpin that really screwed RMW over there had to be that Jin. Like, I feel like if they had something like, the Kog'Maw, the Trist, even like a Misfortune who would have had like a closer range team fight alt just to force some zoning or, like anything else in the mid lane.
Most certainly. And what now? We are going to get here into draft here for a second. Besides the Tarek. So, from that, we are going to, what am I trying to say? I just totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, we're about to get into draft. And we're just waiting right now for the teams to hop in. Oh, never mind. They are still loading in. I apologize for that. Like I said, not all here. Had to do with a lot of stuff right before this, so we are here with that. And so with this thing, is there any pick that you think we should see these teams rehash from last game?
Yeah, I mean, if 9X can get the Varus again, that's absolute first pick priority. And if that doesn't get banned, then RMW does not deserve to continue playing. What I mean by that is that they probably deserve to be knocked out of playoffs. Not that I mean that I disrespect them on like a personal level or anything. I mean, that Varus was absolutely intrinsic to their success last time, landing clutch ults. The slows. Even during team fights, he was even weaving in the full range, devastating Qs for pickoffs and everything. And it's like the rest of the team just collapsed on while he just piled in that damage. I didn't get a chance to actually see the graphs last game, but I would not be surprised if he was, at the top or near the top.
And I didn't necessarily take a look at them either, but we are seeing these bans come out there fairly similar to how they were before. We do see Anivia and Zillion and Vladimir all taken off the board again, and Zaya as well.
Yeah, so here it comes down. If they do not ban, oh my goodness, they did not ban. And they must be first picking Varus. It has to be. It absolutely has to be a first pick Varus. It is. Okay.
And it most certainly is.
That's exactly what I called. I knew that it had to be what it was.
Most certainly. As we did see Xerath and Galio banned again, unfortunately. I want to see a Xerath.
Ooh, and the Renekton on Fear My Croc.
Ooh, we do see the Crocodile Rock for Fear My Croc. So, tell us about this. And the Caitlyn. Tell us about both.
I mean, his name is literally after that character. You don't name yourself after a character unless you're really, really good at it or really, really delusional. So we're going to find out really quickly what it is in this game. And I'm erring on the side of really, really good at it after seeing his play last game.
Yeah, you're either every Yasuo main except for Yasuo, or you're Yasuo.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bad Yasuo mains with names that reference Yasuo.
I think we all have. He's just... They think they can play him. We do see Cassiopeia come selected by the side of Risen's Most Wanted, trying to prevent it from getting banned like it did in the second rotation last time. We do see the Shen come out for...
I like that Shen. Because, Renekton, with the presence that he has, he's probably going to push the Shen to tower. And, Shen can always taunt him into that tower. That's like the bronze level strat, but you'd be surprised how much it happens other times as well. He has that shield to block his auto attack, so after he uses Call to get in there, oof.
This is a pick I forgot to mention earlier just because how Friday was that I've been surprised that we haven't seen yet. Olaf. Olaf is so strong in this patch. I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast. I realized I forgot it last game, and I love this pick. He's so strong right now because of how powerful his early game is. I mean, you can go in.
True.
I say once you hit level 6, you can engage on anyone. Shen taunt, who cares? Cassiopeia miasma or petrifying gaze? Who cares? Chains of
So what I'm
corruption?
wondering
Who
here,
cares?
I ask for a prediction out of you. Olaf, Predator or not?
Is that even a question?
It is a question because there is
Of
other things he can
course.
run. I mean, when you get to this high level play, when people sense the Predator, they're actually better about getting away from it. So I've seen Olaf running a variety of things. He's actually been picked up in the LCS a couple times with a bunch of different runes. And Olaf basically single-handedly ended my team's dreams. The opposing team picked an Olaf and just went ham on us. I was personally playing a Malzahar. Bad decision.
Yeah, it was. You want actual, terrain to stop him if anything, or dashes out. Malzahar has neither of those, just the lockdown, which Olaf doesn't give a crap. Remember, any of your CC, Olaf does not give a crap. Speaking of
And it's
CC, we
also
did see Lulu, Braum, Azir, and Sejuani all go off the board. And we do see a Karma come out. This is a fairly squishy 9x composition.
Yeah, I think it's pertinent to note too with the Olaf is that he's one of the easiest junglers to play. There's not a lot of nuance to his kit. So really, if you have a great jungler and they haven't picked up Olaf yet, and you're in a competitive setting, ask them to pick up Olaf. At least try. He's fun too.
I
Yeah,
think you should more
the
so ask them
Karma.
what they've been doing instead of practicing Olaf.
I like the Karma there for the tethers and everything too. I'm not sure. Do you think they're gonna play Karma mid or
I
support?
think
I assume mid.
I think this is going to be a just dominate bot lane because of the fact that you do have Caitlyn, you do have Karma, that dreaded bot lane that stomped everyone. I would say about a little bit less than a year ago, right around the time of MSI and a little bit before that, when it was just these mage supports dealing out so much damage early, and we do see the Jax coming out for Risen's Most Wanted. I don't like this champion. Hashinshin has ruined it for me.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about how I feel about the Jax pick here. And there is the Janna, so maybe that's why I got banned last game. Maybe that is a super comfort pick for them. They do have the disengage with the Janna, they have the protection with the Shen, they have the disengage or engage with Cass, they have the same with Varus. They basically, RMW does have a comp that says we're going to fight when we want to fight. But I don't know how Jax really synergizes into this comp aside from chop chop make the haters drop.
And the Nami locked in. I don't know about that. I really don't because Karma's a pretty good that you could establish a really good bully lane there and just go to end the game by about 25 minutes if you are the side of 9x, go full early game, and then also throw in the mid lane someone else who stops the early game. I just totally forgot who I was gonna say there, or the earlier mid game. Maybe I don't know. You could go a Corki if you wanted to dominate mid game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see the fabled Nami mid.
It's fabled for a reason, my friend.
I bet somebody's made Challenger, or at least Masters doing it.
Mid Nami.
Someone just made Challenger playing nothing but mid Sona for like 420 games.
Have you ever played against a full AD carry, a full AP carry Sona in ARAM?
Yeah, oh, it's
it
miserable.
hurts.
It's one of the most
Nami
miserable
doesn't.
feelings in the world.
Nami doesn't. So yeah, there's a little bit of difference there. But in addition, I don't like how squishy the comp is from 9x. I think that RMW has a much more standard comp because the fact they do have a good bit of bulk there with the Jax, provided he builds some tankiness. The Shen, of course. They do have a little bit of way to stop all of the dashes from the Renekton, make sure that he doesn't really get into a fight. But there's no real true way to follow up from either team. Like, there is some follow-up, but you have Janna disengage, you have Nami disengage, you have Karma there just poking out, doing a little bit of clutch damage. How do you see these fights going?
Well, I was thinking, don't really count 9x out because think about how organized and clean their team fighting was last game. If you have like a sped up Olaf just running in there chopping people down and not being able to be controlled, or the giant Renekton going in there doing percent health damage, just spinning around wrecking everyone, it can actually scatter the other team. So even though I feel like RMW won the draft, I wouldn't count 9X out just based on how dominant they were last time.
Well, most certainly, they do have a very solid early game composition, with Renekton, Caitlyn, Olaf, and Karma all being extremely powerful in the early to mid game. But in these late game fights, you have to think that the Cassiopeia and the Varus, like if it gets to late game, you have to think they'll just be straight up out damaged.
Yeah, it's you are correct there. Cass is disgusting in the right hands. She seems like one of those characters that, unless you're Faker, you really shouldn't play her. But when you get somebody that's on that level, oh my gosh, just absolutely disgusting what she can pour out into you.
It most certainly is. And what? Well, give me your pick here. What do you think?
After just seeing the overall organization and the fact that this is my fourth time casting RMW, I have to give it to 9X. I mean, RMW can't be feeling good mentally after that first game either. Despite winning the comp, I'm going to go ahead and give it to 9X here.
All right, so we do have our pick for 9X. I'm also going to pick 9X just because I think they can very easily stomp. I think they can very easily stomp the early game if they get that pressure up. So yeah, I think that it could be 9X here, so I'm going to go with that. Plus, I really, really hate this Jax pick. I just don't see him really synergizing well. I think you could have gone someone like a Jarvan, done better here, because then you could sort of provide a little bit of counter engage. I mean, Olaf can't do the Ragnarok against a Cataclysm and have any effect, because if there's a wall in between Olaf and his target, Ragnarok doesn't really do much.
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of other picks you could have had as well. I mean, even think about it. Not that it would lock down an Olaf, but I honestly feel like current patch, I feel like Warwick's in a better place than Jax right now, too.
Yeah, I mean, Warwick's never in a bad place. That is the best rework Riot has ever made, just because of how balanced it is, how well he captures the thematic. But Warwick isn't in this game. We're looking at this, so again, I just like the composition of 9X because it has a focus. It has a direction. Also, another thing I see a Nami with Ignite.
Yeah, they're definitely going for the early game here. But I mean, they have a guy named Fear My Croc playing a Crocodile champion too, so I'm looking to him for him to go big. I want to see some MVP level play out of him.
Tick tock goes the clock, and you know to fear his croc. I got the rhymes all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's some ones I was steering away from in regards to Renekton and Crocs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to go there. Thanks for pointing it out. But yeah.
But we can flock to the Croc.
Oh, would you look at the clock? Oh, okay, we're gonna stop with the rhymes and the puns and all that.
We can flock to the Croc. I'm liking the Viking.
Yeah, and while the Croc is rocking, the Olaf will be Ragnarokin.
I'm out.
I am too. That was bad even for me. Oh my god, I'm ashamed of that. Okay, so we have your picks. We have my picks. Let's look. I'm trying to think of what we haven't covered. Sorry guys that this isn't as good as it usually is, especially for quarterfinals. It's just the delays and all that kind of just set us back a little bit, set us a little bit out of the mindset. So looking at this early game, one thing I do know is that Shen, to a degree, can provide a little bit of stoppage on Renekton, just because of the fact that Shen does have that Spirit's Refuge, I want to say.
Yeah, I also want to note real quick here before we actually get into the game. Take a look at the mid-summoner spell choices. Cassiopeia, Ghost is quasi-essential on Cass, but Karma was allowed to freely take that teleport, which really opens him up for some big plays. With Karma's tether, the boost, the mantras just flying around, everything that Karma can provide. If they get a big TP play, I wonder if Cass is going to regret having that Ghost.
They just might. Also, you should definitely play Karma mid if you get the chance. It's a lot of fun. It's just absolutely cancerous to play against because of how much damage it does in the early game. It's painful to play against a mid Karma as anybody other than like Zareth or another like super early scaling champion like Talon.
Okay, I'm a Vel'Koz one trick at this point.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry.
I mean, I'm not too worried about karma. I just stay back and do my trigonometry.
Hexagons. Sorry, that was an in joke. I forgot that this isn't CL.
So we are going to go ahead and take a look at the skin games here.
Hey, that's my line. You stole my line because, dang it. It does look like the skin game is even. Now we have to go into the depths here. We have to look at the skin quality. We do see prehistoric Renekton, and dang it cut before I could freaking. All right. Okay, it cut before I could really, go.
I'm
into
giving
it.
skin game advantage to 9X as well, just because I hate Star Guardians. Fight me, don't at me.
Oh, okay. In that case, they had a Star Guardian. I didn't see that. So yeah, I completely agree with you. So we are loading into the game. This time I will introduce the blue side. On the blue side, we have Risen's Most Wanted with Graves Robber in the top lane on Shen. Jackie Chan on the Jungle Jax. We have Lil Swidby on the Cassiopeia mid. Suida on the AD carry Varus. Mid lane Brain on the support Janna. And we have a pause. Go ahead.
That was nice of them to pause just so that I could introduce the other team. So, rocking the Croc in the top lane, we have Fear My Croc. Running around, Ragnaroking out the jungle, we have the Olaf. Bringing Karma and balance to the mid lane is great support. Blasting your head off in the bot lane, we got a Caitlyn, and bubbling you to safety, we have Wi-Fi on the Nami.
All right, and looking at this, while we're paused, we have more time to talk, even though we ran out of things to talk about. So it does look like Wolf God Battles has reconnected, so it should be a resumption here soon. What do you think they're going to look to do here at this level 1?
You know, with how dominant 9X was last time, and the fact that I'm sure that Nami has the bubble, Karma has the tether, Olaf has that great slow with the undertow, I would actually think they have a good invade comp. I mean, really, aside from the tornado and the fact that Shen's somewhat tanky at level 1, what do they really have to stop and invade here? Jax's level 1 is okay. Varus's level 1 is okay if you somehow manage to charge up a full Q. You know what I mean here? Like, what I'm getting at. I like that. Nami has the CC early. Karma has the CC early. Olaf has the CC early. Caitlyn just brings the damage early with the headshot out of the bush. I think it would almost be silly of them to not try to contest at least a little bit.
Yeah, that most certainly would be I would say an unwise decision to not abuse the fact that you do have a really good level 1 as 9X, especially if that Caitlyn took her Yordle snap trap. Because of the fact that what you could do, let me picture this here. You could have a Renekton, what's the name of the ability? We have time here, so I don't think it's really going to matter. The Ruthless Predator, right, into the Undertow, into the Q from Karma, Mantra Q no less, if I'm not mistaken, because of the fact that level 1, yeah, Karma does get her ultimate at all levels. So yeah, Mantra Q, Snap Trap, and the Bubble. That's 5 ways to CC, 1 from each member. So that's a lot onto one person. Whoever gets it is going to die.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Nami has the Ignite too, so maybe that's even lending some credence to the fact that they are more likely to invade.
One thing, though, that is interesting is that Jackie Chan and Graves Robber have yet not taken an ability. With the Shadow Dash and the Leap Strike up, you have to think that they might be saving that in case there is an invade. That way they could get away.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong here. It's obvious, like, sort of like a counterplay and everything. But I just sort of want to see, like, are they going to do it? I'm excited. I'm pretty excited right now.
All right, and allow me a small moment to see how it is coming with the load back in.
And we've lost the Shen.
Why don't you talk about this minion dematerializer on the Karma?
Honestly, it's just it's a good quick level 3 when you get that cannon wave coming in, and it allows her mantraed up Q to one-shot casters a lot earlier. It's not essential as it was in 8.4. We don't have the Banner of Cancer like meta anymore, which I'm personally very glad is gone.
I like that meta. I liked being
I
like getting to talk about my Bruce the Banner of Command minion.
No, just every single team picking like Cho'Gath and Sion and standing 5 years away from a tower. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't fun. Like when we cast the game the last time, it was literally just watching a Scion sit there with like Roar of the Slayer manipulating minions that are bannered. And it's like nobody can fight because you can't get in on the tanky teams. The minion does too much damage.
Roar of the Slayer doesn't hurt banner minions.
No, I'm saying he was manipulating like minion waves to keep things and people and everything, like people slowed and away and knocked up and everything away from the bannered minion. It was basically like a Scion meta for a patch. Like he was the meta.
I did not enjoy it that bit because of the fact that a constant flow of jokes. Just, that constant Scion jokes and Hyper 10 Scions. I'm just happy that for once, I don't have to deal with the Hyper 10 Scions.
Scion is actually still really good right now. And
I know, don't remind me.
The one thing that like throws me a little bit is I feel like the league community is a little knee-jerky. Like, okay, Banner got dialed back a little bit. Or rather, the minion itself did. It's still really, really good. It's obscenely good, but it's in League you can take one AD off of a character and it can go from 100% pick ban to 0% pick ban. The community is very, very knee-jerky when it comes to any adjustments.
Most certainly are. So honestly, you never know how one of these is going to end up. You never just know like how the meta is going to change week by week. It can be a very slippery slope in that you don't know what's going to happen.
But I know one thing that will never happen.
Shaco will never be meta again.
I was going to say Garen will never be meta.
You said that, but at the same time, Juggernaut patch. The patch that almost made everyone quit League. And we are back into game. I have to turn off an LCS stream as we do see a 5-man stack into that bottom side river. Ooh, if Jackie Chan isn't careful.
And no early dominant vision there. And it looks like they're going to go for it just as I predicted. Oh, missing the undertow though.
They did miss the undertow, but they did get the ward down. They do know what side he started on. And the crying emo comes out from free Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get that level 1. They kind of pulled the trigger a little bit early.
Now, tier list-wise, where do you feel Crying Emote is? Like, do you feel that's like an A tier or a B tier?
I don't really know. The only emote I use is my Fnatic spam whenever I opponent anyone who has a NA logo. And it does look like Grace Robber and Fear My Croc are already trading. Plus, Lil Swidby is up here, so it could just be the level 1 damage from Cassiopeia Shen. Who knew we'd say that? But it takes a lot of damage. Still there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just observing, just looking around the map here, seeing what's going on. I'm watching Karma right now.
You're watching Karma. Okay, I'm now watching
Karma going to try to steal?
Did she just?
Karma stole it!
The Karma stole the red buff.
Really bad for Jax.
He didn't smite secure when he saw her. Oh, that feels so bad. That's going to put him so far behind. And this is an early game that he really didn't need to get too far behind before that with anyway. Also, be sure not to be speeding up your camera because you were ahead of me there.
No, absolutely. I was not. I think it actually just kind of wigged out.
Looks like Fear My Croc actually did the bad end of that trade, taking a lot of damage there from the Shen.
I'm still hung up over that Karma. That was fantastic. Just abusing that range, and that's going to slow that Shen down so much. He's only now just hitting level 2, as Olaf's already 3 and farming up more.
So is this Karma level 3 to the Cassiopeia level 2. That's a lot of damage down to mid lane Brain, as he does not go down there. Very close as the Ignite did go down, but it did burn the heal from Suida, which probably ended up saving the life of his support.
Yeah, you never want to see that happen that early there, though. Mid lane Karma is going to be able to play pretty safely around the cast. So you really don't want to see this much damage going out bottom lane this early.
That is a lot of CC and damage down onto Sweet as he takes half his health from that ability rotation there. Between the bubble and the Piltover Peacemaker, there really wasn't anything he could do.
Now, and Caitlyn has, a 10 CS lead already up over the Varus. That's pretty significant. It's worth noting.
And it looks like Fear My Croc is in a lot of trouble. Oh my god, look at the CS differential in the top lane. This is a Renekton, and it looks like also that Wolf God Valves is going to be hopped on, but it doesn't look like the Jax pulls the trigger there. So nothing happening there, but Fear My Croc is just... I mean, there's nothing to fear right now. He's getting absolutely shocked.
That's the difference right there versus the Doran's Blade versus the Doran's Shield start. That's pretty much as easy as you can chalk it up to.
I mean, even so, man, like that's...
It is a domination, but you got to figure, Shen's basically immune to auto attacks in a 1v1 like he is right there.
And it looks like Fear My Croc could go down. No, but he escapes with a sliver of health. He escapes with 20 HP. Wow. He's just getting smacked.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm looking for him to go back and hopefully, at least buy like a cloth armor or something here to get himself out of this.
He bought another Doran's Blade.
Ooh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
He also teleported back, whereas the Shen is just going to walk back. So that's going to be a teleport advantage over to Shen, who also bought armor and a ruby crystal. So he was like, okay, I'm good, as Wolfgod Valves is hopping in onto Jackie Chan. Undertow does land. Great support is rotating, but for some reason we're still looking at the bot lane. Riot, fix your stuff, please.
Yeah, I like the little hop there to Karma to get him away there. And it's worth noting that I think a lot of people don't realize that back, it was like 7.15 or something. Olaf got a cooldown reduction to his Undertow. It's now a permanent slow if he lands it on you. As long as he can aim.
Ooh, and Swine taking a lot of damage there. And also, this Olaf is in the wings, so if Wolfgod Bayless does want to flash Undertow Smite auto attack, that will be a dead Varus. He has to go in now, though. He cannot wait any longer, but he does wait too long, and it does result in the Varus getting out.
It looks like they are going to go in on the Janna, though. Easy kill.
Like they are, and that is an easy kill here. And the fact that Wolfgod Valves is still going to die, barely avoids being the first blood, as that Janna does take a lot of damage onto that entire team. First blood does go over to Luca, exactly who you wanted to, but Valves didn't have to die.
Good call there on Janna to shield the tower to give it that little bit of extra AD just to secure that kill.
I hate to interrupt,
almost got
Caitlyn
Caitlyn
fighting in this top lane, and Fear My Croc does take down Grave Robber.
I missed that one.
Dynamic cam.
Yeah, I'm a little bit salty about that because it was complete domination. Did it get turned around? Yeah, look at that. They're back even on CS now and a solo kill. But, we are going to see that Shen. He's definitely going to be building, Bomby Cinder, Ninja Tabi, cloth armor. It's going to happen.
Riot nerfing Ninja Tabi. What a sad day.
It's happening. Did you see that post from Medler?
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
No, I love it. I love it so much.
I'm trolling you. I love the fact that they're not finally nerfing Ninja Tabi. Maybe something like Fiora and Renekton will finally come back into relevance. But speaking of Renekton, that was a very solid solo kill onto the Shen, who now, and that does give him a gold advantage. Now this Renekton isn't able to teleport back top, so he is going to go down on CS again. But overall, that was a very good upswing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a 1k gold lead here early and a 1 kill lead. Nice little pick there from Sweden in the bottom lane. Demanding some respect.
However, there is one thing you have to think about. This is an early game composition, and they're only up by about 1,000 gold at 7 minutes, so not really what you want to see.
True. And they only have one deep ward, if you look in there too, which is about to expire.
Just like the fact that there's another fight at the top. Come on! There's so many fights in this top lane. These two do not care about the fact that they need to live. They are just fighting and fighting and fighting, and Grave Robber is getting the worst of this trade. And it does look like the Dominus is going to... Oh, it did not take down the last bit of damage. That Shen manages to get away. Also, the Undertow manages to take most of the Raptors there, but it looks like that Smite does secure it for Wolfgod Valves. A lot of fun. All of the map is now free. Wi-Fi is under fire from Sweden, who does get hit up, but it looks like Fear My Croc is just going to go in on top of Graves Robber. He can just sit back and just let the minions do it, but he might die to the tower. He needs to be careful, and does not die to the tower. The Jax isn't there to stop
Definitely
him.
worth noting that Shen basically missed a straight line taunt there. That definitely cost him his life.
It most certainly did. And it looks like Jackie Chan wanted to find himself a crocodile to make some boots out of, but was not able to.
Imagine if I had some real boots.
Okay, never do that again.
That's Jax, right? That's something he would say.
Sounded more like McCree.
So we're not even in the right game.
Pretty much, yeah. We are seeing just a little bit of trading here. Like I said, there's nothing despite this early game composition, there's not nearly as much going on as you would think from the side of 9X. They're kind of playing a little bit passively. You'd think that especially great support would be pressing this lead a little bit more than he is. He's the only one like not up in either kills or CS over his enemy laner to any sort of reasonable degree.
Look at that bot lane. That's the story there. Look at that Caitlyn with the kill.
Yeah, there does go the tidal wave as a lot of damage comes down onto mid lane Brain. The Shen ultimate comes down, but it does not go through. A lot of damage coming out from Luke, and it did result in the kill. Oh no, it gave the kill over to free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was probably not what they wanted out of that, but still, the Caitlyn's just gonna be able to extend that lead to a 30 CS lead now. Yeah. And a kill and an assist.
And it looks like Lil Swidby is just in trouble as Ragnarok comes down, and that's going to be a dead Cassiopeia. But can he get out? He does have to flash out because of the fact of minion block. And it does look like first brick is also going to go down to the side of 9X. In addition to that, they are chasing down this Varus. He does not want to die, but that slow does come down. Bubble does miss as the Piltover Peacemaker does come out as well.
Remember that 1K gold lead?
Oh.
It's a 5K gold lead now.
4. Well, yeah, 4.5. Close enough.
Yeah, and that happened in about 2.5 minutes of game time. They extended that. That's wild.
That is
I'd definitely look for them to secure an objective here and push this early game. Almost turn it into a formality at this point. They should be able to easily secure Drake. RMW needs a counterplay here. Like, they need Jax to get a Herald, or something has to happen.
Most certainly does, but also don't forget that they are on the clock as Fear My Croc is actually having the tick-tock tick back on him. He's trying to get out, and he does manage to avoid them just barely. Ooh, the slice and dice coming in clutch because of the fact he did go through the Jax on the slice, so he was able to get the dice.
Very clean, but, I mean, they committed those resources to that top lane and got nothing, and look what's happening. There's the Drake.
Most certainly. That damage from that Olaf just helps take down that Drake so fast. He is such a good early game, and he's showing it here. Like, he's up about 16 CS on that Jax. There's a CS lead in every single lane, but the one that disappointed is that mid lane. You have to think that there should be a greater CS differential than that.
Yeah, especially with how hard it is for Karma to spam early, or excuse me, cast to spam early, whereas Karma has the dematerializer and can just like one-shot the entire wave. But they might just be focusing on harassment, which it looks like they are there. You know, there is a mental aspect to it as well. It's not all about the gold, because there are humans playing these characters. We're not robots here. So, you know, just the constantly being harassed and being pushed away and just annoyed, it gets to you.
It most certainly does. It looks like this Renekton has set up a split push as the top lane tower is undefended by the 5-man push into the mid lane. Valves has got Sweet in a bit of a bad position, who is forced to flash out. And it looks like Valves is going in. He's got some backup here. There goes the tidal wave. A lot of damage onto Swida, and the auto attack does nail him. Fear My Croc does, and go get Jackie Chan from that right under his tower. I can't think of it.
Let's see if Cass can clean up here. Just looking for it.
It might be
there's
in a
some
little
kill
bit of trouble.
potential.
The flash and the fear, taste their fear does come down, and it just ended up resulting in the Cassiopeia dying as, oh, that shot almost kills the Janna there. Ace in the hole. Not
right there,
quite
Cass either needed to be more aggressive or just get out. It felt like they were playing very indecisively. They were like, they knew that they could blow somebody up, but they either needed to do it or dip. And that's bad for them. You know, that's going to be a tier 2.
You know who needs to dip at this point is Grave Robber and Fear My Croc, because they're getting taken low, just like this mid lane tier 2. A lot of damage down onto it. Honestly, just a dominating early game from the side of 9X. Forget anything I said about 5 minutes ago. That gold lead went from 1,000 to about 8,000 over the course of that 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, if you look at the vision. Just check this map out right now. Everywhere is just covered in red. I mean, they have priority on Rift Herald as well right now. It would almost be silly not to just go and smack it down.
From this,
There's really nothing that RMW can do to stop you.
and Wolf God Battles is just walking into their jungle saying, "From this moment forward, none of you are safe."
The great thing, let me just talk about Olaf here while we're in between some action. Another reason I love Olaf is you can build, the Cinder Hulk, and then you can build like one damage item like a Titanic Hydra or what have you, and then just go full tank and still rip people up end game and be relevant. Like, his early game is naturally good, and then his end game you can just make him a meat shield.
You most certainly can. A meat shield that cannot be stopped by anything short of terrain because of that Ragnarok. Oof. I say, it's just... You don't screw with the Viking. Oh my god, the damage onto Suida as mid lane Brain. He's a little bit out of position just like last game. A lot of damage coming down from free Wi-Fi and great support. And it does result in him going down to the mid laner of 9X.
Yeah, again, mid lane Brain's been caught out, I want to say 6 times now.
I think you could argue maybe 7.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah, there may have been a 7th one.
And it does look like this mid lane tier 2 does go down. That is 4 towers down before 15 minutes. That's a lot of early game pressure there as Little Slippy, he's up here. But he's in the face of a Croc who will freaking clean his clock. A lot of damage there. Chains of Corruption does go down onto Fear My Croc, but Fear My Croc does not give a crap as he manages to get out. And that Jax dies, and so does the Shen. This Caitlyn is cleaning up, but right now, focus on the Crocodile. Actually, no, he absolutely runs off, so now focus on the Ace and the hole on the Jam.
Ooh. I was going to say caught out again, but
and
not
this
quite.
Olaf has no button other than go, and he runs forward, taking down the Janna. And that was an ace before 15 minutes.
Yeah, that is absolutely devastating, and then it's worth noting they picked up the Herald. Like, while they were still destroying them, they actually picked up the Herald too. And I want to just give props to free Wi-Fi. I saw your Nami ult. It was very clever. There was 3 members of RMW left up. Nami actually split them with the ult. I don't think she hit anybody, but it split their team completely and just added more chaos into that fight. Just the area denial and the outplay there on the Nami was fantastic.
And we do see another tower going down. This is 6 towers before 16 minutes. What is this game, and what can stop 9X at this point? It seems like Hemlo and D-Rose and Karima Machine broke all the teams still left in this tournament. They need to be on watch.
Yeah, these people are... I'd almost be willing, if they could play this well, this clean, I'd be willing to put them up against some of the lower NA Academy teams at this point.
I wouldn't go that far, but okay.
I don't know. I think on a good day.
If I remember correctly, what I heard is that the difference between Diamond 5 and Master is the same difference between Bronze and Platinum.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, I'll pay for it to happen if we can make it happen.
Good luck with that. As the Grave Robber does go in, but it does look like the Olaf is sped up. He wants to go in, but doesn't really find a chance to pull the trigger. Fear My Croc just being this massive just deterrent. Nobody wants to screw with him as the Chains of Corruption does go out. But this Crocodile's like, wait, did you just do that? And you thought it would hurt? Okay.
So, worth noting here, as they are going to grab this inhibitor easily, I don't know if you remember, for about 4 years, Olaf was so bad that getting nerfed into uselessness was called getting Olaf.
Yeah, and then Evelyn and Rengar had the same thing happen to him, except it was kind of worse almost. And we do see a lot of damage. Are they trying to end the game before 20 minutes? We could see an 18-minute game. Wolf God,
it's going to happen. Why not?
Go to him. Fear My Croc just takes down the tower, and there's nothing from the side of Risen's Most Wanted that they can do. A massive monsoon there does knock them away, but it's just great support. It's just on a killing spree. There's nothing they can do. Graves Robber, you are in a bad spot, my friend. That Caitlyn just takes him down. Fear My Croc just destroying on this backline. Doesn't get shot by the Nexus even once. And you know what? That's a 4 for 0. That's going to be the game.
That is the game and the season for Risen Most Wanted. That's not the way you want to go out.
Yeah, and I believe this is the shortest game of any game in the Risen main season. They're already disconnected. This is a sub 18-minute game at this point, and Swida just gets knocked out there too. Wait,
I think he sold.
He sold his items for Guardian Angel, and he's still dead. Just end the game already. Come on. As Graves Robert, the game is over. 19-1, 18 minutes flat. the hell did we just see?
A stomp.
Yeah, I think that is a fair call there.
For me, you might disagree with me here, but I like the biggest outplay in terms of 1v1 was definitely the sport. Mid lane had no presence on the Taric and a negative presence on the Janna. And I mean, free Wi-Fi, just fantastic both game. Look at that kill participation here as we go into the end game here. Involved in 15 out of 19 kills.
Okay.
They had a 10 stack guys.
Question. Over the series, who is your MVP?
I got to give it to free Wi-Fi. Just involved in every fight over the course of both games, making clutch decisions, and when it came down to it, they were involved in every big decision that the team made.
Most certainly. I also have to give it to free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi was just solid this entire series. Very good glacial fissures as on the Braum. Very good crowd control from the Nami between the bubbles. All of the amount of utility that this Nami was providing, the amount of setup that was there, it was just insane. Free Wi-Fi, I tip my hat to you, and we will be actually right back with free Wi-Fi along with the captain great support of 9X here in just a moment. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen of the Risen community. We are here. I am Hyper. I'm here with Tamed. And also, I'm here joined by two special guests. Our MVP for the series, Free Wi-Fi, and the captain of 9X. Great support. How's everybody doing?
Hey.
Good.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
stoked
going.
that we got to show off in playoffs.
And show off you did. That composition. If I'm not mistaken, that was the quickest non-forfeit, non-disconnect, troll match in Risen this season.
I think we could have ended it sooner, but we decided to troll.
Yeah, we decided we wanted to recall first. We actually probably could have pushed end on the first tower.
You could have outpaced the shortest game in LCS history, I believe. So yeah, there's that. There's most
Yeah,
certainly
it feels
that.
pretty good to win like that. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to toss this out. Game 2, are you aware, Free Wi-Fi, that you out-damaged the Olaf to champions?
I was not aware of that.
I think that's really impressive. That was the one stat that I pulled out, which is one of the deciding factors why I named you Series MVP personally. And then
Well, I built a Magias
question I have
after
for
I
you-
back. Yeah.
I just wondered, at about 14 minutes in that game, you used an ult when 3 of RMW was still alive. I don't believe it hit anybody, but were you intentionally trying to split their remaining 3 people?
Was it
Like,
by
was
the
that
wolf
done?
pit?
Yeah, it was like
Oh
it
yeah.
split them literally right down the
If they
middle.
if they run into the ult, they get CC'd, and
And they didn't split together; they
splits them
split
up.
separate.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like really that was the end personally, and that was why I decided to declare you Series MVP plus the insane damage in the second game.
well,
Yeah,
plus in the
Nami
Nami
first
was my
game.
most played last season.
Say that one more time.
Nami was my most played last season, and they actually didn't respect our picks. They gave Luca Caitlyn, and they gave great support Karma, and then they gave Fear My Croc his #1 champ, which I thought was pretty disrespectful.
One question I would like to ask is, not knowing y'all's opponents, how are y'all looking? How do y'all feel going into the next round? Like I said, not knowing your opponents, just thinking about going to the next round. How do you feel?
we're fairly confident. We haven't lost a game in quite a while now in scrims. Like we're doing just exactly what we did to these people in scrims, and I don't really see anybody really putting up a fight against us.
All right.
I
well,
think we have a pretty good roster right now, and everyone's comfortable with their roles and champs.
you almost certainly do have an extremely solid roster, but so does your opponent next week. It is Henlo, the #2 seed, and I believe one of the only 3 teams to beat you guys this split.
Yeah, we had a lot of roster issues earlier on in the season that we kind of fixed going later with the pickup of Luca and the swapping of Balvez to jungle, and ever since we've been feeling really really good in scrims. Like we were playing with Torty B, our sub top laner, just because Fear My Croc was not available for a majority of the regular season, but I'm here to say that he's available for all of playoffs. So if people don't want to ban Renekton against him, he'll play it. So
is that a call out? Are you
Yeah.
telling them right now? Are you saying Henlo either ban our Renekton or we're gonna roll you?
yeah,
Exactly.
Oh,
That is some juicy trash talk, and I believe this might be the. I believe this is the matchup with the highest combined elo of the players involved. So
of the first round playoffs.
no, overall in all of the games so far, this matchup will be the highest combined elo of any game, just between all the roster swaps and everything, plus how players have grown in the season. I believe that this is the highest elo matchup, so this could possibly be, I guess you could say, creme de la creme of Risen at this point, this semifinal matchup, which will definitely be streamed on either Risen or Risen 2 next week.
All right. Well, I mean, we're looking forward to it.
Honestly, we're just aiming for D-Rose.
Yeah. We have practiced a lot against D-Rose over the season, and we're finally ready to just make him eat a sock.
Well, you know Waba loves those socks, but I don't think he necessarily wants to eat them. He's gonna have something to say about that. But also, so is Henlo. Remember, still gotta get through them first.
Yeah, we know. We're taking the games one at a time, but we are feeling really good as a team. We're really gelling. Everybody's really just being real positive in games. We were struggling with like a lot of hesitation earlier on in the season, and with this roster, we don't hesitate at all. We just go and we end games.
All right, sounds good. One last question, or more so a request. Order the 4 teams and tiebreakers at the moment.
Let's see here.
It's TSM, Cloud9, Clutch, and Liquid. Do it.
I'd probably put TSM, Clutch, Cloud9, and then Liquid.
Ooh, I'm
That's
sorry for your incorrect pick there at number 1. The correct answer at number 1 was Team Liquid. All right, guys, that is it. That is it for us tonight here. Have been Hypertension, joined here by Tamed.
Have a nice night, everybody.
And thank you once again to my special guests, free Wi-Fi and great support.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
All right, and we are out. Join us next week for the semifinal matchups of Henlo versus 9X and D-Rose versus Karaoke Machine Broke. See you then,
Both
guys.
to be streamed. See you guys.